a number of people that will continue to jump on. I will just start by saying hello, everybody, and welcome. So excited to the 2022 installation and celebration of the New England region section of the Residential Real Estate Council. And my name is Lisa Parento. I am your current 2021 president. I'm so thrilled to be surrounded by amazing colleagues. And I am going to turn today's program over to our MC, the amazing Holly Woodward, who is our incoming or current. She is incoming, but she is the national president of the Residential Real Estate Council. Super excited to have you here today with us, Holly. It's such an honor and privilege to have you be part of this event, an honor and privilege to have you as a mentor. I know all of us feel the same way. We can't wait to see amazing things that are going to be happening next year, and we hope to be a good part of it for you.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much, Lisa. And I know when you reached out and asked if I would be able to be a part of this, it was a little bit crazy because I'm supposed to be at Realtor Party training right now in Nashville. And so I told Lisa, I said, I don't care what I have to do, even if I'm set up in a hotel with lights or, whatever I have to do, I'll step aside from the program to be a part of this because CRS RRC owns a huge piece of my heart. It's been an 11-year journey to get to where I am today. And it's leadership roles and volunteerism like each and every one of y'all are doing right now that has gotten me where I am, and the love and support of all of our members for sure. And so, just a couple of days ago, I realized that I had been exposed. I had, somebody reached out to me, and I will tell you, golly, the last 2 years have been such a challenge for so many of us. It's just been so completely different. And we realize how truly important relationships are. And I had been counting down the days to go on that trip because that training conference is like our celebration and like our gathering in San Diego or like NAR, where the energy in the room and the relationships with people are just infectious. And so, you realize how you want to be a part of that. And so even though I was supposed to be there, I knew I wanted to be a part of this and the New England region. I'm very proud of y'all and everything that you've accomplished. And I can't wait to see how much more. So when I found out that I was exposed, I, at the very last minute, canceled my flight, canceled my hotel, and have been trying to stay off social media in complete candor because they look like they're having an amazing time. So so many of them have reached out and everything, and I've said, just come to celebration because it's that same level of excitement and enthusiasm, and join your RRC and CRS members from across the United States and around the world at that event on March 4th through 6th in Phoenix. So all that to be said, I would not have missed this. It's better right now where I am. God always has a plan, right? There's a reason things don't work out. And in fact, yesterday when I would have been on a flight headed to Nashville, I was able to hear a speaker, our city manager for Owasso, Oklahoma, which is a small town of 38,000 people here in Northeast Oklahoma. But he said so many things that were just hit me, right? I knew that I was supposed to be listening to him at that time. He was talking about leadership. He was talking about volunteerism. He was talking about giving back and making a difference. But one of the things that he said that really, really spoke to me was that they had done a survey. And the survey was this, a large pool of people, and 2/3 of those people last week said that they felt alone or lonely. And we're talking about top volunteers, like leaders in our community, people that are constantly giving back. And I think oftentimes we forget, and I know we've touched on it because we've done the Mastermind Mondays, going through COVID and everything, and we really have. But I think because so often, and you've seen Robin Williams, the post on Facebook that people share all the time, so often those people that are trying so hard to make other people smile and happy and make sure other people are okay are the people that are really struggling themselves. And they don't necessarily want the attention, even though they could need, they could use it more than any. So what I'm going to tap y'all all to do is, when someone or something is on your heart, don't set that to the side. Make that reach. Call that person, text that person, let them know you're thinking about them. And it could be anyone at any time. I mean it. You know, if you can't at that exact moment, write it down and do it as soon as possible. I cannot tell you how many people have said, you know, oh my gosh, if I had just. I was literally at a service for one of my past associates last week, and he passed due to COVID. And the one thing that I could say or could tell myself on the way to the service was, I'm so thankful that when God laid it on my heart, that I did reach out, that I did make that call, that I spoke to him, and I felt really good about that. So, you know, as leaders, we need to come together. And then we also need to like just check in on people. I know we were doing it really, really, really strong, and you know, right when the pandemic was going on, like really reaching out to people. And it's okay if you don't feel like you can reach out to somebody, or if you have something going on, please reach out to me. And I mean that sincerely. I absolutely do. You know, crs.com, my phone number is 918-381-7070. I am here because of each and every one of you. And I will be available to you. And I know that you can look around all these faces that are on the screen today, and there's not a person up here that would say anything any different, because you're here right now. So you're volunteering or being voluntold to make a difference, and you absolutely are making a difference. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for having me be a part of this installation. Again, I am so proud of the New England region, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Maine, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, Vermont. My hope is to be able to come out and see y'all. That's one of the things that we're doing this year. We're really getting back to that face-to-face meetings, getting out, you know, as a leadership team. That's our goal as a president. And I hate it for Richard. You know, we talk about the right president or the right person at the right time. And he had, you know, he was an amazing president during the pandemic, but I hate that he didn't have the opportunity that I'm praying COVID will allow me, you know, will kind of step aside for a bit. So I do have that opportunity to get out there, because that's the one thing that we continue to talk about in our weekly executive calls, how important it is to have those face-to-face meetings, interactions, classroom sessions. And so I'm going to do another plug real quick for Celebration, March 4th through 6th in Phoenix. I sure hope that you're going to be able to be there. And we are actually, because so many of our members are also major investors in RPAC, we're working right now, anybody that's going to the RPAC conference in the Bahamas, February 25th through the 27th, we're working on, or 24th through the 27th. We are working on a CRS class in the Bahamas. So that wouldn't be a bad business expense. So we'd love to see you there too. But all those things aside, again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. As the first member elected president of the Residential Real Estate Council, I promise I will do my very best to not let you down, to make you proud of your decision. Even if I wasn't your decision, that's okay. I hope that we'll just work well together as a team. Team 2022. I can't do it without you, right? We can't do it without you. So thank you again for having me. And at this time, speaking of our amazing past president of the National Residential Real Estate Council, I'm going to turn this over to Mr. Richard Waystack to lead us in the Pledge of the Allegiance.
Thank you, Madam President. So good to have you here today, President Lisa, President Hawley. I'm honored to be with you today and to install you as the 2022 New England Region Leadership Team. I'd like to recognize, though, as we start with the pledge, Gary Rogers offered to help me out to do the pledge. And actually, we smile about it, but I want to respect Gary because he is a veteran. And I'd like anyone else who is a veteran to please raise your hand at this time. Bob, Todd, Bob, Imperato, and I'll make sure second page you're not missing anyone. Did I miss anyone on the second page? Okay.
Let's clarify. I asked if you needed a copy of the words. I didn't offer to help you with the pledge. I think you can handle that.
I most certainly can, but you know, out of deference, and Gary's been a friend of mine for many, many years, and he's one of those ones who tapped me on the shoulder. So I'm going to defer to one of our veterans, respected veterans, Gary Rogers. Gary, would you kindly lead us in the pledge?
I have a flag in my office, so I have to stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Richard.
Thank you, Gary. Thank all of you for your service to this great country of ours. At this point, I turn it back to our new president, Ms. Holly Woodward.
Yes, thank you so much, Gary Rogers. One of the things that Gary, one of the books that he was, he told me about years and years ago is it's like, talking about making your bed every morning, right? And who makes your bed every morning? I do. And you learn that, it's a military thing. It's a non-negotiable when you're in the military, and it's stuck with me. And I raised my boys doing that, and it hasn't led me astray. And I think the world of Gary as well. You guys have an amazing region, I'm just saying. So the next person on our agenda for the invocation is Miss Annie Hart Cool. If you will please lead us in our invocation.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. So I'm pleased to be here, pleased and proud to lead you in your invocation. Please know that this is, of course, ecumenical. Dear gracious Lord, we sit before you as a grateful and humble servants of real estate. Thank you for blessing this gathering of real estate professionals as we celebrate a vibrant year of business and education. Education brought to us by our leadership, which helped us navigate the post-pandemic real estate market. These have been challenging times, Lord. We have relied on our leadership to light the way by being powers of example and always raising the bar. We are grateful, Lord, grateful for the lessons of patience, kindness, empathy, and service that have been a required tool during a low inventory, high sale price market. Lord, help us as an organization to hold each other up. Our industry is experiencing fatigue from multiple offers, escalation clauses, and disappointing outcomes of negotiation. Help us remember as colleagues that we need to continue to be kind. Thank you for keeping us safe and keeping us enthusiastic about our business. Thank you, too, for the reminders of self-care and the importance of filling our professional, emotional, and spiritual tank before trying to fill others. Help us be mindful of our health, as we cannot do the good work of putting roofs over heads if we are not well. Remind us that this is a noble profession. Lord, it is my sincere request that you hold this body of professionals in your inclusive love and care. Please lift up Lisa and Holly as presidents and let them continue to lead with care and enthusiasm. May you fill Lisa and Holly with the gifts of empathy, patience, humility, and purpose. May the leadership lead knowing it's the journey, not the destination, that counts. As always, Lord, I ask you to help this organization of real estate professionals to seek balance in their lives and remember to be kind to each other. Thank you, Lord, for hearing my prayer and for wrapping my colleagues in a warm embrace of your care. Amen.
Amen.
Man, that was beautiful, Annie. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very, very much. And now I will turn over the time to Lisa Parento to introduce our sponsor.
Yes, I am going to, I think Todd is here. I have a quick slide I just want to put up so that we have Todd's contact. So Todd Case, those of you who don't know him, if you haven't met him yet, and the Case team has been an absolutely unconditional supporter of the New England Region Residential Real Estate Council. Todd has said yes every time we've asked him to be part of one of our events. He's an amazing home inspector, of course, but he also is just such an unconditional supporter of, actually, let me, of course, you're not even seeing that properly. He's an unconditional supporter of everything that we do. And I want to just take a moment to introduce Todd to all of you. If you don't know him, I think he's calling from his car. Todd, do you want to just say a couple of words? Introduce yourself to those who don't know you.
Hey, thank you very much, Lisa. Yeah, I'm Todd Case, as Lisa pointed out. the case team of Pillar to Post home inspectors. Pillar to Post has been a integral part of CRS for many years, corporate as well as locally, and I appreciate every opportunity to get to be a part of this association. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We appreciate your support and your smiling face, and you're also a great home inspector. Truly, you know, Todd really educates the new buyers on how to take care of their new home. And that for me is the highest, the very highest good and the real purpose of a very good home inspection. And so I just want to take a moment to make sure that we can share that about Todd. So thank you again.
Yes,
Back
and
to you,
I want
Holly.
to yes, I want to give a huge shout out to Todd also, and to Pillar to Post period. They have always been a top sponsor of us on the national level, and it speaks volumes. And you know, so it's always nice to give back to those that so willingly give to us, certainly in this profession. So thank you, Todd, from the national level down. I have seen you on several of these programs with the New England region, so thank you very much for that. Next, we want to recognize the 2021 leadership team. You guys had some rock stars. Miss Lisa Parento, of course, is your 2021 president. Marie Presti, finance chair. And I will tell you, Marie represents very well on the national level also as a member of the finance committee. I'm always very impressed. Having been able to serve with her. She comes prepared. She has questions, great questions, and that's what I'm all about. I love that. You know, we're digging in deep, we're making some changes, getting everything on course. So Marie Presti certainly represents you well. Karina Robles, your membership chair. Nora Lynch, education chair. Christine Mcclellan, communications co-chair. Kate Lanigan McGregor, sorry, your communications co-chair, Shannon Buss, special events co-chair, and Ann Ennis, special events co-chair as well. Let's give them a round of applause. Huge thank you for your 2021 leadership team. And then I also want to take just a minute to recognize other leaders, the state, the local, and the national leaders. Would you just please wave so we can recognize you? Anybody that serves at the local, state, or national level, and let us just give you a round of applause. Thank you so much. And now we're going to have our reports from Lisa, Nora, and Christine. We'll turn it over to y'all.
Let me unmute here. Yeah, so I just wanted to give Christine and Nora an opportunity to talk a little bit about some of the very exciting things that went on in our virtual year, our second virtual year this last year. I do have a slide on membership, which I will share right now. Christine, who is also, I like to call her our CTO, put together these numbers, and I would like to share them with you now. Christine, did you want to say a couple of words about these numbers you put together and any observations you had?
Sure. The things that I thought were interesting is we maintained the number of designees from 2020 to 2021, if I've got my numbers right. We're going to keep trying to track that through the year and and our goal is to grow it for next year, really. The thing I thought was amazing is that the percentage of realtors that are CRS keeps dropping. We have more realtors, and CRS don't go down, but we have more realtors. So we are a very special group, as you know.
Absolutely.
So we'll keep tracking, and that'll be our goals for next year, is to keep an eye on that and see if we can help those members get to designees as well.
Yeah, and that's one of the things we're going to talk about, in terms of education and looking ahead for next year. One of the interesting things and very encouraging, and Holly can confirm this, and Richard, when we were at National and got our member update, RRC nationally actually grew by a little bit over 2,500 members in 2021. So that is fantastic news. And the New England region grew by 120. So that was good. And I could not have said that the year before in 2020. There was a much smaller growth. So those numbers are encouraging, and we're just looking forward so much to growth and growth and enthusiasm this next year for sure. So then I wanted to mention also our education for the year. Nora, would you like to chime in? And then we'll also talk a little bit about Mastermind Monday.
Thanks, Lisa. Yeah, so Chris Bird, we actually had 2 courses. We offered 4 each quarter, not just for New England, but for national, and it was obviously via Zoom. And Chris offered 2 courses that we offered to everyone, which was Increase Your Wealth with Rentals and Other Investments, phenomenal course, and then Tax Strategies for the Real Estate Professional. Then we had our own Jack Cotton from the New England area, and he offered the course of Succeeding in the Luxury Home Market. And finally, we wrapped up the year with Kim Cameron about building a team to grow your business. So they were all a great success. People from all over the country joined in, and really great feedback on all 3 of these great instructors that CRS has. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Nora. And I think one of the things about virtual education this last year, and then in 2022, we're looking at some hybrid, is that we were able to expand the folks that were able to come. We had people from Alaska. We had people, we had people that never would have been able to travel to come to our events. And we continue to look for ways to collaborate with other states and also with other organizations, the Women's Council of Realtors, YPN, other groups, and everybody, really is very interested in wanting to do that and looking to do that. So then we also did something which I think most people are aware of, and that is the Mastermind Mondays. So we continued to, where am I going here? Stop share. We continued our Mastermind Mondays, which in the beginning, in the early part of the pandemic, Kelly Catallo and Nora Lynch spearheaded a fabulous idea that Cheryl DiGirolamo, our past president, really had, and that was to have some kind of a gathering once a week. We settled on Mondays at 12 to 12:30, and we'd feature local people, national people, our own members, anything that might be of value and of interest to the New England region community. At the time, it was pretty focused on New England region. Actually, Richard was at the very first one, and I think we had like 75 people because we were all sitting home staring at our belly buttons, not knowing kind of what to do. So that was fantastic. And over time, Christine Mcclellan, our CTO, would record those and post them on our YouTube. So now we have this amazingly robust YouTube of Mastermind Mondays for 2 years. So we continued the work, and then this year we kind of went, geez, that was a lot. Well, beginning of 2021, geez, that was a lot of work in 2022, said Nora and Kelly. So we decided to take each week and break them up and have the first week be kind of a headliner education person. The second week was something we called President's Panel. The third week was more of a membership related one. And the fourth week we took off. So we did that for a while, which was really, really for the whole year. We took August off, but in the end, we've had 2 years of consistent presence, for the most part, every Monday from 12 to 12:30. And we've had big names, Marky Lemons and Lee Brown, and we've had folks that just like local folks from Rhode Island that talked about, how they've used their CRS designation and kind of some interesting, innovative things that they've done. It's just been amazing. It's been a lot of fun for us to get to know more members. And so we've made the decision to keep up with Mastermind Monday next year, but we are going to be doing it just one Monday a month. We're going to start the year with that. Most likely, we're looking at the second Monday. We'll have some blockbuster guests and going to have that, pretty set up in advance. Everyone will know what those 12 Mondays are to continue to add that value to our members in a consistent way, but have something that's also manageable for the leadership team. So very proud of that effort and very proud of the catalog of Mastermind Mondays that we have. Everyone says, oh, I'm going to go back and look at them, which doesn't usually really happen, but we do have them, and people are certainly invited to go and take a look at all of that. We're very, very excited. And then in terms of education for next year, I think I'll share about that right now. So one of the things that we thought we might do is actually CRS has developed a number of certifications. One is in investment property, one is in luxury, one is in smart homes. And so we thought, well, why don't we offer the certifications as our education for the year? So we've booked 2. One of them is the luxury certification. So there's a full day live /hybrid with Jack Cotton. And then for that certification, there's 5 additional hours of webinars that would need to be taken. So people can take that on their own whenever they want to, or we're going to do that second day together, have a sponsored lunch. And so if you want to come and be with us for 2 days, one day the live class, one day to watch the 5 hours of video, you will be able to do that and you'll have your certification at the end of that. So we're doing it for the luxury class with Jack, as well as we never could let a year go by without Chris Bird. So we will have Chris Bird doing the investment strategy and the investment certification class. And that, I believe, is in the 3rd quarter. And we're probably going to have that in Connecticut, which we're looking forward to very much, having another live class in the Connecticut market. So that's what we're doing right now on the schedule, as well as a June luncheon. And we actually were thinking of inviting our own Holly Woodward to be our very special guest at the June luncheon. That will be a member benefit. That will be sponsored and it will be a benefit for members. So right now, that's kind of what we have going on for the next year. And I will turn it back to Holly.
And that is exactly why when people are coming into the volunteer roles, you know, in leadership and everything, and they say, you know, we're not exactly sure what we want to do or what we need to do, or, you know, just kind of trying to put their toe in the water and get some ideas. It's like, hey, check out what New England's doing, right? You guys have been a shining example. You could have used the pandemic as an excuse to just kind of shut down and slow down, because it would have been perfectly acceptable. You know, we were all working through that at our own pace, but y'all did not slow down. You continued to make sure that there were member benefits and that people saw, you know, why RRC was what we are. And so for that, I just want to say thank you. Again, I have participated in some of those Mastermind Mondays, either being on them myself or just watching. And so that was tremendous. And you guys really are a fantastic example of what's right with our membership and what's right with our state leadership. So thank you for that. That is, I was, you know, taking lots of notes because Jack Cotton is fabulous. And of course, Chris Bird is as well. And so, and June, I would absolutely love to come. So definitely get me the dates and everything on that. That would be an honor. So
Sure will.
Now I'm going to turn it over to your own, but our own, because we are a family in RRC and CRS, Mr. Gary Rogers, to give us an update on the Realtor Relief Foundation.
Thank you, Holly. I'm really, really proud to say a few things about how our realtors nationwide, but specifically in this region, really stepped up. As you know, the Realtor Relief Foundation, the fund itself is 20th anniversary. That was Charlie Oppler's goal, was to really beef up the fund, because up to now, there's a thing in fundraising that says never waste a good disaster to raise funds. And it's unfortunately true. The fund has always been reactive as far as raising money as they need it. And they wanted to get to a place that they would be proactive, where there hasn't been delays, but they don't ever want any delays in providing the funds to keep people in houses during disasters and keep a roof over their heads. And so Charlie's goal was to start to build a fund that would not so much feed itself, but sustain itself to some degree, to take some of the burden off of the last minute fundraising. Well, and I'm very proud to say I'm a director on the foundation. I was just appointed by Charlie earlier in the year. Well, I got a phone call shortly after that, and it was Lisa saying that we've decided to throw a fundraiser. And boy, did they throw a fundraiser. And it was at Nora's beautiful home. There were quite a few people there who showed up, and we raised over $7,500 in one short afternoon with a relatively small group when you think about it. So kudos to that. I will also give credit to Shannon Buss, because one of the first other groups to step up and was 100% participation was the NARLA class of 21. So we're on record with that, and thank you, Shannon, for that. Just a little background. Originally, the foundation, the trustees were looking to raise anywhere from $3 to $4 million. And it became pretty apparent that the response was going to be unbelievably stronger than even our professional fundraiser advisors gave us some numbers. And so we set the bar at 8.5. I am happy to report we hit 8.520. So we did it. $8.5 million we raised. So congratulations. A special thank you. I don't see her in the room, but Karina Robles made an unbelievable donation that was just mind-blowing. And so thank you for all of you that participated, all of you that donated. Continue to keep it in mind. I know it's going to be part and parcel to the overall Realtor organization moving forward. And they're going to be looking to do more work. And just thank you so much to Lisa and the leadership for putting that on. Very, very proud of our region. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. And I just put in the chat the website, the link for people to still be able to, donate this year. This was the 20th anniversary, as Gary said, so there was a little bit more attention from every corner of the National Association of Realtors about this. But as you say, the way that this all started, am I frozen? Someone just said I was frozen.
You're good.
The way that this started and coming from a disaster, and then turning this into one of the most, we are, I think of all the associations and professions, we are the most philanthropic. And this just goes to show one more time that that really is the truth. And the Realtor Relief Foundation does not just give, as you probably all know, to realtors. They bring forward the issue in the community, but it really is to help whoever needs a helping hand and to reach out the hand of the realtor to those folks. So I couldn't be more proud to have supported that and to be part of it, and to call Gary our friend. And thank you so much for sharing all that, Gary. I just wanted to say a couple of quick words before we move on to the installation portion. Anyone who's a president in 2020 or 2021 kind of shares the challenge of being a virtual president. Some people squeeze out a meeting here or two, but even last night I was at the South Shore Association of Realtors, and people were literally giddy at being able to be together. There's just that. I remember Steve Medeiros. I said, Steve, but we all beeped in the car. We were there. We were beeping. Remember the drive-in? That was so great. We were so excited to be there, just in our cars beeping. But last night, being back in person, it reminded me again that there's 3 legs to the RRC stool. Richard Waitsack taught me this, and the 3 legs are, number 1, our education, which is, the best in our industry. Absolutely. Our CRS instructors are just amazing. And of course, there's our referrals. I mean, if you're going to refer a client in Wyoming or in Florida or wherever, and you don't even know somebody, if you choose a CRS, they are at the top of their game. They are a good agent. They're going to take care of your client. They take referrals very, very seriously. But the 3rd leg of our stool is our networking / friendships / relationships. And I felt this last year that we're all living on the fumes of like 2019 and 2018, remembering in our hearts our friendships and all those times in Vegas and all the times that we had so much amazing fun together. And we've been trying to, continue to put one foot in front of the other, but we have missed that. We have missed that relationship and missed that face-to-face. And that is such an important piece of CRS. It's really a family. And it kind of sounds like a Hallmark movie when you say that to someone who doesn't know, but anyone who's been involved with CRS knows that there's something different about this group. And I'm incredibly honored to be part of it, incredibly honored to walk with you all into this next year. And I do believe with all my heart and soul that we will be together more in person. It won't look like it's ever looked before, but that's okay too. But I have belief. I do believe that we will continue to grow both our membership and our enthusiasm, and that leg of our stool, strengthen it and continue to hold that up and really be able to embody that we are CRS and our CRS family. So just wanted to share those couple of words with you as well. And that fills our tank. I love what Annie had to say. That was so important. We do need to keep remembering to fill our tanks. And those friendships fill our tanks. And all of you together, those beautiful faces, the screen right now just has filled me up so much. It's unbelievable. So Thank you so much for all of your confidence in me and your support. I wouldn't be anywhere without the support of my team. My leadership team has been amazing. They show up every month in our meetings. They're always available. They're always present. Cheryl, as immediate president, has always been there. You know, both Cheryl and I have been through a few things this past year and joined a club that many of us are not looking forward to joining, but we did it together, and I've really, your support and your love has really meant the world to me. It really has. And then the members for staying with us. You know, Nelson's on every Monday. I mean, there's so many members that have continued to stick with us no matter what. And that has really meant so much to us. Rick Coughlin, so great to see you here, Rick, our CRS of the year a year ago, and our past finance chair. Really appreciate that. So anyway, thank you, everyone. With that, I'm going to turn this back over to Richard Waystack, who I think is going to install the 2022 leadership team.
Thanks, Lisa. Great job. Wonderful message to our members and to your leadership team. You know, I'm the old dog. I've been around for a while, and going through this process as a state president and getting involved in national. Lisa talked about that three-legged stool, and I know Gary Rogers is dying to make a joke about that, but I'm going to hold off. You talk about the relationships, you know, and truly some of the best relationships in my life are from this organization. And it far surpasses any networking, any referrals, or education that we have. These are lifelong friends that we've made, you know, and I know that, as Holly mentioned, I could pick up the phone and call anyone at any time, you know, and they'd take my call. And for the leadership team that's moving forward, you know, you've got a major responsibility. And I mentioned this back in September when we were together with the Mass Association of Realtors. You have a responsibility to find your replacement. You need to look in this room and at any gathering we have of RRC or CRS designees to find those who have the skill set that can step forward and be a benefit to this organization, more importantly, to our fellow members. That tap on the shoulder, everyone has had it. I had mine years ago, and I see some in this room that I tapped on the shoulder to say, hey, you've got a great set of skills that could benefit this organization. So it is a responsibility that shouldn't be taken lightly, but it's a responsibility each and every one of you must take, must embrace, and start working on immediately. It's not something that happens 1 month of the year and, oh my God, who are we going to have for this seat next year? You should know soon who those next people are who will be coming forward. And I want at this point, give a shout out to our president, Holly, because Holly is our first elected president of RRC. So congratulations, Holly, for being our first elected president. And now I'd like to recognize your leadership team from New England. Your president who had so much fun, she wanted to do it again, Lisa Parento. The president-elect, Nora Lynch. Nora, I'll tell you a few things before you make that commitment. It's a long journey. Your finance chair, who has been exceptional at the national level for our finance committee, Marie Presti. Finance co-chair, Michelle Hagstrom. Your education chair, Nora Lynch, who's been just simply amazing. Membership chair, Christine Mcclellan. Christine, you have done so much for this organization. Thank you. Membership co-chair, Ann Meswar, my friend from the western part of the state who served admirably as the Massachusetts Association of Realtors president. And our friend from Rhode Island who does just so much and who is an unbelievably capable member, Miss Ann Enos. So to each of you, congratulations. You know, a position of leadership in any organization is an honor, not to be taken lightly. Your fellow members in selecting you to your respective offices have expressed confidence in your dedication and your ability to promote the welfare and the best interests of the New England region, RRC. As regional leaders in New England, you will represent to our fellow designees and members the highest standards of our very worthy profession. So I'd ask each of you, we may not be able to see all of you at once while your script is on the screen, but I'd like you all to please raise your right hand if you would. And after Richard, I ask you to...
I have to make one correction. I not perfect. Shannon is the education chair for 2022. It currently says Nora is doing both, but it's actually Shannon. That's my mistake. And I just want to make sure that's corrected as Shannon's got her hand up. Shannon is our 2022 education
I
chair.
apologize. Nora is such a superwoman. I thought she was doing two things.
I was kind of having a mild heart attack.
You're capable,
It was
Nora.
kind
You're
of
more than
thrilled.
capable. So Shannon, I apologize and then congratulations to you as well. So I would ask you all to respond to my questions with the words, I do. Do you understand and accept the responsibilities and the duties of your offices you are about to undertake?
I do. I do.
Do you pledge to abide by the rules and the regulations established by the Residential Real Estate Council?
I do. I do.
Will you support the mission, the vision, and the programs of the Residential Real Estate Council?
I will.
I will. I will.
I will.
By the authority vested in me as the immediate past president of the Residential Real Estate Council, you are hereby installed as the leaders of the New England region of RRC. Congratulations to you all.
Richard, point of order. I think Ann Meswar's cat just got sworn in too. She raised her paw.
I'm sure it'll be a great addition to the leadership team of the New England region of RRC, Gary.
He's on a committee, I can tell you right now.
Back to our very, very capable MC, Ms. Holly Woodward.
Well, thank you all. You've done it now, and you have all these witnesses, right? So you have accepted your role, and again, I am absolutely thrilled and excited to be a part of this journey this year with y'all in 2022. So the next thing that we're going to do is have Lisa give her President's Award and CRS of the Year. So it's back to you, Lisa.
Yes, this is such a really great part of being president is considering and thinking about who has served sort of head and shoulders above everyone, although the whole team has been amazing, and who would be named CRS of the Year. So I'm going to share my screen again and let you know that Christine Mcclellan was awarded CRS of the Year. So we could have a hand for Christine. So this was also, we were able to present this award in San Diego, and Christine was not there, but we were taking pictures, and a whole bunch of folks who were also in the South Shore Association of Realtors. In fact, Rachel Tristano, I think, is with us here today. I think she was more excited than Christine might have been, because she knows how hard Christine works for and in everything she does. And Christine's one of those very rare leaders who doesn't say yes that easily. And it's something that I've actually learned from Christine. She thinks about a commitment before she takes it on. And she really was an amazing communications co-chair. She single-handedly figured out the YouTube thing and was there every single Mastermind Monday to start us up at 5 of 12 and to make sure that we were on track. And then right afterwards to post it to YouTube and also to email the link to our speaker. And it was just amazing. She's just one of those leaders who is so reliable, and you just feel like you can relax knowing that Christine is around. I really mean that from the bottom of my heart. So Christine, congratulations. I won't make you do a speech or anything, but if you'd like to say a word or two, please feel free.
Lisa, you humble me. So I can't talk.
Okay.
And thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. And so the next award is supposed to be kind of a secret. It's kind of a secret. A few people do know, but we are charged with awarding a President's Award. And I am really excited to award the 2021 President's Award to Enos. Ann has been an amazing leader. She is such an amazing advocate for RRC. She has so many years of experience. She actually started, I think, with Cheryl DiGirolamo. They were back in brokerages, and Ann was sold for many years, but then she took on a staff education role in Rhode Island. And we really weren't, you're not supposed to, the people who are on the leadership team typically are CRS members or CRS designees. So we created a special category on the leadership team called special events. And Anne and Shannon last year co-chaired that that committee, and this year Anne is co-chairing it herself. So I had this award made up, but I couldn't do it because I knew on the Zoom screen it would be kind of crazy. So it's a glass star that will sit on your desk. It's not nearly that big. It's kind of small. It's not that big, but it says the Ann Enos 2021 NER RRC President's Award. You are a shining star of RRC advocacy. And I really mean that with all my heart. You have been very amazing for us. And I, both as an advocate for CRS, but also Anne as a leader. You know, we recently were in a conversation and a call, and I really learned a lot about the way Anne handled that call. And even though I kind of disagreed with what some of the folks were saying, she said, but they are our members. And that's how they feel. And I went like, oh yeah, oh yeah. So I have to tell you, I learn a lot from you as a leader as well, Anne, but you certainly are a shining star of RRC advocacy. So congratulations, you are the 2021 President's Award winner.
Once I'm speechless, imagine. Yep. Thank you.
I will ship that.
That's a great deal. Thank you very much.
I'll ship that to your office for sure. So now, woo-woo, Holly, would you introduce our keynote? I'm so excited about this.
I sure will. And I just want to give an extra shout out to Christine and to Anne. And Anne, what I will say to you, because I mispronounced your last name when I was in the beginning, when we were talking about the 2021 team, and Enos, I will never mispronounce your name again. That's very important to me. And so I apologize for that, but congratulations on the award. And I was on that call that Lisa was talking about, and you had just a perfect presence in that moment. And so I really do look forward to you and your role in leadership this year as well. So thank you for that. And congratulations to you. And yes, I do have the distinct honor and privilege of introducing the keynote speaker today. And this is someone that I know, I respect, I admire, and I get to share in Region 9, which is also a pretty stellar region, if I do say so. If we're talking about the Realtor Relief Foundation, this NAR president's father was the reason, or one of the reasons, that we have the Realtor Relief Foundation from September 11th of 2001, Mr. Richard Mendenhall. And Elizabeth has certainly made a name for herself. Mrs. Elizabeth Mendenhall is our keynote speaker. She is also the founder of the Unicorn Leaders on Facebook. If you're not a part of it, you need to get on there, because she is one of a kind, and there are so many one of a kind leaders, but she is one of the wonderful kind. So I'm just going to give you a little bit of her background, but just say that I feel it an honor and a privilege to know her, to know that I could pick up my phone at any time, that I could shoot her an email, that I could text her and say, ask a question. She's that leader. She's a members leader. She truly, truly is. She was, she will continue to be, and always a resource for us. So Elizabeth Mendenhall is a realtor from Columbia, Missouri. She was the 2018 president of the National Association of Realtors. A sixth generation realtor, Elizabeth is the CEO for Remax Boone Realty and has been in the business for more than 20 years. As the 2018 president, Elizabeth helped drive bold innovation specifically aimed at heightening NAR's communications, technology, and advocacy strategies. Accomplishments include amplifying real-time member communications, championing fair housing, and positioning realtors as technology advocates to further emphasize the critical nature of the role realtors provide in the industry. Not only is she an accomplished speaker, she represents the association and NAR's leadership team, presenting to realtor and industry audiences nationwide and abroad. Again, one of a kind, the amazing kind. And what I think of when I think of Elizabeth Mendenhall is, the sign of a good leader is not how many followers they have, it's how many leaders they create. And I have to say that I believe Elizabeth Mendenhall has certainly created and will continue to create and replace herself and grow our Realtor organization. So I am now going to turn it over to Miss Elizabeth Mendenhall.
Thank you, Holly. I can go home today now. Thank you, Lisa, for having us or having me. And this is really cool. This is a special time. And I think this is always the best time of year because we get to celebrate all the successes and we kind of transition into the new ones. As Holly mentioned, I'm in Columbia, Missouri, so it's certainly nice to be screen to screen with you here today. And I hope there will be a chance when I can see all of you guys, maybe even closer in person, because I've just been in awe of everything that this particular region has done with so much different things that you have done. So that has been pretty awesome. So today, I told Lisa, and give me a thumbs up if we're good. Yep, okay, you can see the screen. Christine's telling me yes. I want to make sure we're on track with what we've got. So one of the things that Holly mentioned, I think that's so critical to have is really good mentors along the way. And I was really super fortunate to have my father, who was a mentor, to have somebody I could count on. I think we all need that. It's as Holly mentioned, hopefully, we have that in our region. I know you guys have that in your group with Ann and Gary and everyone who's in your circle. That's such a great group, and you've got some upcoming leaders. But then the next thing is you kind of say, someone says, well, what is the best leadership that tip you would give someone? What would you say? And if I was going to come up with one thing, it would be to ask questions. Like, what is the best leadership tip? Because so many times people come into a room and they just they want to explode and tell you everything that they think, right? Here's why I'm here and here's what I think. But you forget to ask the questions of whether or not what is the history, what has happened in the organization. And, when you think about what a question can do, a good, well-worded question can really cut to the heart of the matter. If you just tell somebody how you feel or assert your opinion on someone, you may not get to where you want because you can't even get past what you're trying to get to because you've kind of cut through them. I think a good question, an honest question, can help us hopefully lead to solid convictions and solid things, that we really end up that we are feeling if we're honest about the questions. And then correct questions can help us find ourselves and find our mission. So to me, it's all about the questions. And I've literally watched and been in meetings before where new people have come, they're stepping into a leadership role, they're taking on a role that they've thought before, and they just explode all these ideas. And you watch the room just kind of glaze over because you haven't provided and haven't shared really kind of some inquiry into others. And we know that when people ask us about ourselves, we respond to that, right? We're honored that somebody took the time to ask us about ourselves. And the organization is the same way. You can respect the organization by asking about organizations. So today the thing is, first of all, you're only going to get answers to the questions that you ask. So if you're really looking to learn and you're really focused on wanting to do better and wanting to grow, it probably means that you're going to have to ask some questions, and you have to understand that you're not going to know all the answers yourself and you're not going to be able to figure it out all on your own. So what are 10 questions that you as a leader, you as an agent, you just as an individual who wants to grow, and I know there's so much of that in this organization, what are 10 questions that I think you should kind of constantly be asking ourselves, right? And really looking and saying, okay, I can ask everyone else things, but what do I need to consider to be the best leader that I want to be? And so the first one is, gosh, it's what RRC is all about, right? It is, are you investing in yourself? Like, what are you doing to truly invest in yourself? Every time I do this presentation, I always look at this and I'm like, God, what did I do today to invest in myself? Like, did you really take some time to think about, what did I do to grow today? Did I try to learn? Did I try to do something different? Did I put some money into me? It always amazes me that when you think about, if you've got to go, how many of you went to San Diego? Just show of hands, right? Some, okay, lots of hands up. Lots of times we spend more money, we plan better, right? To go away for a week than we do sometimes on our own business, right? You know what I mean? I mean, the hair, the new clothes, maybe it's a new bag, maybe it's a new suitcase, you know, you spend more and I write out more lists of what I'm going to do than many times I do sometimes each month on my business. So what are you doing to take the money and putting the money into your business, into yourself, into grow it, and into your leadership to grow? When have you bought a new book? When have you done something? Number one, leaders should ask themselves, what are you doing to invest in yourself? Which then goes along with the number two. Am I taking time to think? Deep breath on this one, you know, deep breath on this one to say, is there a moment of the day when I am purposely dedicating myself to some quiet time? Now, for me, this is different than I'm investing in myself and I'm listening to a podcast in the morning. That's me listening to a podcast. That's not me stopping and saying, what did I do today for myself? Am I really doing what I want to do? Am I just taking some time to clear my head, to have 10 minutes, you know, whether it's meditate, whether it's just focus, just quiet time to stop and say, how did I do today? You know, what could I have done different? What could I have done a little more? I mean, 10 minutes of that can help our growth, you know, just help us grow exponentially in really just taking a moment and saying, gosh, I got done everything else but this one thing. Let's really, really hammer in and get this one thing done. So number two, am I taking time to think? Number three, am I genuinely interested in others? Which then causes us to say, okay, if yes, why? If no, why not? Right? And if no, why not? What is preventing me from connecting with others? You know, our business is dependent upon us connecting with others. Our leadership is dependent upon us connecting with others and finding ways to do that, that maintain our sanity, where we don't give up everything and all of our energy to everyone else, right? So am I genuinely interested in others? And how do I express that? You know, how do I show someone that I'm genuinely interested in them? One is you start to ask questions. You know, one is that you get to know a little bit more about them. You try to figure out about them. You maybe take a little bit more time to know something about them. You know, you follow them on Facebook and learn a little bit about something. Do you really care? And then again, the converse piece of that is to say, and if no, why not? Because many times when you do that, you realize that it may be one or two people that are sucking the energy out of you, which is preventing you from getting to know 10 others, because you're just scared of, well, what will happen if I do explore and expand myself and get to know others? Hopefully what it will do is it will give you energy. You know, it will give you energy. And if you're spending your time around the right people, it's going to give you the energy and that energy that you need and that energy that you want. Number four, am I doing what I love and loving what I do? Now, for me, this one's a little bit of a catch-22. I feel like we spend a lot of time, and it's one of those words right now, and it's commoditized. You know, it's everyone's talking about it. You got to do what you're passionate about. You got to do what you love, right? And absolutely, for sure, you do need to do what you love. And if you're not doing what you love and loving what you do, you're never going to really get to where you need to be. However, I do think there is another part that sometimes people miss that I don't think we do in our volunteer space, and certainly not the individuals on here. But when you say you're only going to do what you love, it can be a little selfish. You know, it can be a little selfish of saying, well, if I don't want to do it, then I'm not going to do it. Sorry. You know, which means someone else has to do it. When you volunteer, do you volunteer because you love it? Of course we do. But I think we also find ourselves at another place. We volunteer because it's a duty. It's a higher level. It's our code of ethics. It takes us to a higher place. We know that this industry isn't going to survive unless someone steps up and does it. Do you always want to be on your Zooms nonstop? No, right? Because if somebody said, what is your passion? It's probably not sitting in front of a Zoom. But is your passion changing the industry? Heck yes, it is. Right? Is your passion knowing that you're going to find people who are going to be more committed? Yes, it is. You know, if you use the extreme, I can't imagine that a soldier ever said, yeah, my passion is to run out, you know, in front of a field and get shot at. But it's a duty. And we understand that. And when we do that, when we do something that's maybe not just for us, but when we do something for someone else, that feels really, really good and really, really special, and starts to make our hearts grow, and realizes that, you know, we can matter in this world when we're looking sometimes besides just what we love to do, but we're doing things for others. So, you know, yes, you've got to do what you love, and you've got to love what you do, because if you don't, people are going to see that for sure. But also there's a higher place here that you can take this to, the duty that you have to this industry, which I know this group completely understands. Number 5, which goes a little bit about to what we were saying before. Are you investing your time with the right people? I'm a broker. I wish I could say that I always loved everyone that I work with, right? Just like as agents, I wish you could say you loved all the clients that you worked with all the time, that you loved them all the time. But I will tell you that I had an agent, and I just, every time I would go to a training, it would say, you know, you got to spend the time around the right people. Is there anybody you're spending your time around that and this person always came to my mind. Just always came to my mind. If you find that you're thinking there's just that person that always comes to my mind, you're just not investing your time with the right people. Doesn't mean they're bad people or they're wrong people. They're just not right for you, right? They're not right for where you are. And one of the hardest things is when we start to grow, because sometimes the people who we met here aren't growing with us, right? They may not be growing to a space that we are. I left San Diego, and of course we're there and we're looking at, meeting a lot of people, and someone made a comment and they said, I just haven't seen a lot of growth in their leadership or their understanding. And it is something that you can recognize. You can see who is investing in themselves. You can see who genuinely cares about others, right? You can see who's trying to take time to take it to a higher level. And as a leader, you want to spend time with people who are committed to kind of doing the same things on the same path and doing some different things that you are. So really think about that. You know, are you investing your time with the right people so that you can continue to grow and be the best that you can be? Number 6. Now, let me tell you about number 6. Am I fun? So this year, like many, excuse me, I got a dog. Now, this isn't my dog, but it kind of looks like my dog a little bit, maybe. All right. So I get a dog. Now, did you know that with pets, it's just like the CRS? You can get designations for your pets. You can get them. There are different things you can do. So I get this pet and I'm all excited because I'm like, okay, guess what? Here we go. I got designations. My pet needs designations, right? I got a chart. We're going to be pet. Here come pet comes home at 8 weeks. Here's where it should be at 12 weeks. Here's where it should be at 14 weeks. Well, about 16 weeks, we're not on schedule, guys. I mean, we got a problem here. We're off schedule. So I'm freaking out. You know, Wilbur, my little dog Wilbur, I'm like, come on, we got to get this. By now, I have never had a puppy before. You have to understand, I've never had a puppy. So by now I have a Zoom therapist who kind of zooms in to tell me that I'm not crazy, because I need her to just keep me insane. Otherwise, Wilbur's going to a new family. I got a guy coming to my house because he gives individual lessons. And that's what I think I need. I've tried taking him to training, but they won't accept him because he's too crazy. So now I'm down to 2. So my Howie comes to my house to meet with Wilbur. Howie bites Wilbur. Not Wilbur biting Howie. Howie bites Wilbur. That's how crazy my dog is. So Howie, I said, Howie, I got to get back on schedule. We're off schedule. He's like, okay, here's your training. Here's what you're going to do. A week later, Howie comes back. I'm not on schedule. Here we go again. He's like, why aren't you doing it? He goes, I want to see you train Wilbur. So I do my little thing. I train him, and Howie looks at me, and I swear to God, he looks right at me and he goes, Elizabeth, you're no fun. And I said, what? He goes, you're no fun. You're sitting there like acting like this dog. You got to do this, do this. And honestly, guys, For those of you who know me, I am an introvert. I get scared to get in front of groups just like anyone else. I thought, oh my God, this has been my problem my whole life. I'm not fun. I'm not fun as a leader. Oh my gosh, this is it. You know, I'm not having fun. I mean, all these things are going back through my head. Was I not fun when I was an NER president? Was I too focused on what I was doing? Was I not fun as a big sister? You know, I mean, all these things that you start realizing, I'm like, I need to be more fun. I absolutely need to be more fun. So it is a reminder that as a leader and in your life every day, you need to have some fun. I don't know why it hit me. I feel like for all of you type A's out there who are trying to rule the worlds, and not only rule your worlds, but everyone else, sometimes we have to remember we need to have fun, and it's okay to have some fun. I will report Wilbur's back on track. He got his little certification certificate. So we've realized that fun definitely matters in doing some different things. Which then leads us to question number 7. Am I taking others to a higher level? There is nothing more exciting than realizing and recognizing that you have the power. The power, it is a power in the position that you are in. You have been selected by your peers to take on these leadership roles. You have been recognized by your peers as a leader, which means now you have been seen with something and you can help bring others along now. It always amazes me, but I was somewhere and someone said, well, no, you need to come, you know, do this so that you can meet some new people. And that's what we need to do. I mean, it's about finding new agents, finding new leaders, getting them involved, taking them to a higher level. And when you do that, guess what happens at the end of the year? You're super excited to turn over the reins. There's no conversation of, oh, I should do it another year. Oh, this is so great, I'd do it again. Because what you're focused on at that moment isn't you. It's focused on that other person that you're excited to see grow. Nothing excited me more than handing the gavel over to John Smaby and watching him grow and blossom and lead, because he was a friend and I wanted to see him do well, right? So how do you take others to a higher level? How do you have a conversation? How do you empower them with some of the knowledge and some of the information that you've got and share that? Because that's really a really great space to be in. Which then goes to, are you developing new leaders? Not just empowering others to do things, but how do you develop new leaders? When you start to think about how you want to develop new leaders, it makes you a better leader. Because you start to focus on the tips that you want to share and you realize, gosh, if that's a tip that's important to me, I better walk the talk, right? You know, I better walk the talk. I mean, it's kind of like when, you know, you say you don't know anything well until you teach it. Well, you don't know leadership well enough until you decide to develop other leaders and really start to say, okay, what really did make a difference? You know what? Fun really was important. You know, that really was a piece of things. And who else out there is in your sphere, you know, that you can bring on? This may mean as a brokerage, it may mean other agents, it may mean you're a single agent, but you just know that the marketplace is going to be better if you look at other leaders and you help them and other agents and help them along. But is that part of your leadership journey of really thinking about lifting others on how they can be high, recognized, but also developing them in the same piece of it? So number 9, am I staying in my strength zone? So Holly mentioned that I have a unicorn group. We're not sure exactly what we do, but we certainly have a whole lot of fun, for one. But the other thing is the unicorn group and the unicorn kind of concept. I have a presentation called Unicorn Leadership. It really started based on tech companies and companies that went from 0 to $1 billion. Well, one of the things that they realized in these companies that was really, really important for the companies to grow is the acknowledgement that not everybody can do everything. It's that you have to have specialists and you're going to have specialists. And so number 9 is about realizing, what do you do that's really well, and keep doing it better and better and better and better and better. Not looking and saying, what is it that I do? And do I need to learn something else? You know what? The reason you haven't learned it is probably because you don't love it, right? But the unicorn hiring philosophy, and one of the things that happens in companies right now is that we are wanting to hire somebody who knows how to do everything, right? And so HR positions are having problems hiring people because they're saying, well, they've got to be a good communicator. They've got to be good at Excel. They've got to be good at, you know, working the mobile technology or working the phones. I mean, we know it is in just in our own business. Like, we want somebody who can be a social media expert, who can run the CRM, right? Two totally different skill sets, right? Somebody who can check the boxes on all the contracts. Well, that person most likely isn't the person who's going to be able to do the social media the way they need to do it. And when we look at leadership, now we start to say, well, in order to be president, you have had to, you know, serve on this committee, serve on this committee, serve on this committee. But all we're doing is creating a bunch of generalists, and we're not really getting to the heart of the matter of creating some really good specialists. But in order to do that, you have to recognize that you're not going to know it all. If you look at the Realtor organization and you go back 10 years, so I'm talking 10 years ago, I'm not talking 20 years, 10 years ago, the Realtor Party did not exist. So we didn't have experts in, you know, issues, mobilization grants, community grants, how we could go out there and, you know, do a better job of, you know, promoting the community. We weren't talking about perpetual use of our data as far as our IDX agreements go with Zillow and Realtor.com. We were just giving away everything. You know, we didn't start having those conversations until about 2014. Right? We weren't really talking about all the different things that you can do on social media and segmenting. We weren't talking about Instagram. We weren't talking about TikTok. We weren't talking about any of those things. But now nothing else has gone away, right? We're still talking about pro standards. We're still talking about strategic planning, education. We're still raising money for RPAC. And now we have to do all of that other stuff on top of it. But yet, for some reason, we think that our leadership should know it all. And if you're going to sit on the board of directors, you should know it all. And if you're going to get, you know, recognized as Realtor of the Year, you should have done it all. But you can't. You absolutely can't. So part of staying in our strength zone and saying, what is my strength, is recognizing that I'm not going to be the person who's going to be the legislative expert who knows which senator wrote what bill from Kentucky. You know, but I may be the person who can really focus in on, you know, the best techniques for CRS, or, you know, doing, you know, how we're going to really provide really good quality education to agents. But it may not be the person who's MLS. So we can't find ourselves getting caught in the space of thinking everybody's got to be absolutely special, recognizing that what makes us all special is that we're all different and we're all unique, and we're never all going to have the same skills and the same training in that area. Number 10, am I taking care of today? Right? Am I taking care of today? Hardest thing to think about, because so many times we're so focused on the so many other things that are going to cross our paths, right? So many things that are going to cross our paths. Am I taking care of today? If we don't get today taken care of, we're not going to get tomorrow taken care of, and we're not going to get the next way. It's the win the day, and when the day wins the week, when the week wins the month, when the month wins the year. Am I taking care of today? I think one of our biggest challenges as leaders is that we have the opportunity to self-sabotage. When I very first was kind of coming up the leadership role, I was involved in Women's Council of Realtors, my local association for sure, you know, and my state association. And I kind of operated on the philosophy that as long as I was going, I should just do everything I could, because I was going anyway. You were taking time away from your work, so just kind of get on whenever you can. And I also knew that, you know, I didn't want to let anybody down or anything like that. And so I will never forget, I was on Women's Council and I was a chair, and my vice chair was out of Florida. And we were coming into our first meeting in May. And I was completely overwhelmed. I was just completely overwhelmed, to the point to where I just compartmentalized and I shut down and I just stopped responding to emails. It was done. I was absolutely done. And I saw them, right? I saw them. I knew they were coming. I knew they were trying to reach me. I just was finished. And I got what I did, and I got what I needed to do. And so I come into the May meetings and I've, you know, seen the emails, or then I haven't read the emails, but I know I'm supposed to get there and I'm supposed to conduct a committee meeting. So they say that there's two ways that you get adrenaline sometimes. One of them are the people who do things way far in advance, that like really gets you all excited because you're so prepared and you've done so much. The other is that you do it at the absolute last minute, but you still succeed. So all of a sudden it's a huge adrenaline rush. I mean, those out there, right? I'm going to get it done. I'm going to get it done well. And I promise you. So I went to DC and I stayed up and I went to Kinko's. Now mind you, I have a co-chair who I have not communicated with. And I go into these meetings and I show in and she walks in and I've got the room decorated with banners on the walls. I've got candy on the tables. I've got handouts. I've got the agenda. It might be one of the best committee meetings I've ever like actually put together because I stayed up the whole night and trying to take care of every detail. And she walks in the room and I'm like, we got it. And she just looked at me and she's like, oh, okay. And I'm like, here, we're going to do this, this, and this, and this, because I'd seen her notes. And she's like, okay. So we have the committee meeting. Things go great, and we get done. And afterwards, the president's like, can I see you for a while? I'm like, yeah, sure. Right. And this was I was young, I mean, and I just burst into tears. And she's like, what happened? And I'm like, you know what? I was just completely overwhelmed. She absolutely could have 1,000% cut me out of realtor volunteering for the rest of my life. She would have had every legitimate reason to tell anyone who ever came across my path this story and how I was ridiculous, hadn't done any of the work, but I pulled it together and she gave me the grace to say, you know what? Okay, let's learn from this lesson. Well, how are we going to do better? And I'm like, yep, I'm going to try not to double up on so much stuff. I will never forget that lesson, right? I mean, you have to take care of yourself. But most importantly, she empowered others, right? She empowered me as a leader. She helped lifted me as a leader. And so when we talk about taking care of today, it's every day. Right? It's not just that one meeting in May. It's every day looking at ourselves and saying, are we on the right path? I'm still an expert I can compartmentalize like the best of them. There always still is something that I probably have dropped the ball on that I know is in the back of my head, but I at least try to do a better job. But I am forever, ever grateful to her. And it was Gail Hartnett. She was just awarded the DSA award here at the association. I am forever grateful to Gail, because she took the time to meet with me and to talk with me and to say to me, okay, that didn't work out, but let's try to do it better. So again, 10 questions that you should ask yourself, 10 things that you should kind of, think about. Number 1, are you investing in yourself? Number 2, are you taking the time to think? Number 3, are you genuinely interested in others? Number 4, are you loving what you do and doing what you love? Number 5, are you spending and investing your time in the right people? Number 6, are you fun? Don't forget that one. Number 7, are you taking others to a higher level? And then number 8, are you developing other leaders? Number 9, are you staying in your strength zone? And then number 10, of course, are you taking the time and are you taking care of today? I know that, if there is any place that I tell my agents to start when they get in this business, it is with RRC, and it is with making sure, that they kind of kick off their learning with the CRS. There is no better education class in my mind that exists in this industry. And I think that happens because of organizations and chapters like yourselves and volunteers like Holly that we're so proud of from Region 9, who's leading the national organization. But most of all, the fact that I think for each of you and hopefully all of us, that we do see this as a duty. We do see this as a higher level and a place where we can help others. So I wish you all the very, very best for 2022. And I'm certainly glad to take any questions on anything. But Lisa, so proud of everything that you've done, and congratulations to everybody for next year.
Thank you so much. That was so amazing. I took a ton of notes. I took screenshots of all 10 so we can have that.
I see I haven't offered to be a fun coach. I may need that.
Yeah, and Andy Harcool also volunteered to be our fun coach as well. So I'm trying to see if she actually wants to do one of our Mastermind Mondays on being more fun, which would be a lot of fun. We'll let you know that when we're going to do that.
And if you're not, I'll take Wilbur. I'm good.
Yes.
Does anybody have any questions on any of the 10 questions that Elizabeth mentioned? I'd love to open this up if folks would like to, say something. We have a couple minutes, then we have a couple of special guests that just popped in, and I want to make sure we have a time to introduce them. But I'd love if anyone has anything specifically that they wanted to ask Elizabeth from her presentation. Ooh, Holly's waving.
I want to make a statement and then ask a question, because I do find it so interesting, talking about everybody being in the same storm, right, over the last couple of years, but we're all in different boats. It really is, and it always has been interesting to me, because I said the same thing, Elizabeth, and a lot of people don't believe it necessarily, that I'm an introvert, and you said you're an introvert.
Oh yeah.
And I know that to be the case, right? Not just being in Region 9, but then getting to know you a little better on the national level and everything. And but what I do want to ask, and so I would say that to every single one of you, we all bring something to the table, something uniquely, different. And that's why you're here. And look at what Elizabeth has done and did for us on her national, leadership, getting there and then serving as our president. And like I say, I'm blessed to have her in Region 9. But Elizabeth, to that, what is the one thing out of your presidency or your leadership that you are the most proud of to date? Because I know there will be more, but what are you most proud of at this time?
Oh gosh, that's a great question. I don't know that anybody's asked me that. Here's what's so hard about that. I had some crazy things happen in my year. We were doing a budget. We were getting death threats. We were raising the dues. If any of you hated the new logo, that was under me. And I get asked about that a lot, like what were the worst things that happened? What's so weird though, is like, I never think about that. Those things never come to mind. So what comes to mind is showing up in West Virginia, a state of 5,000 realtors, and they had 2,500 people there. Just being in awe of the power that we can accomplish individually, that's the stuff that I just thought was amazing. You don't understand how much respect there is for this organization, until you go to another country and someone's like, oh my gosh, you're the president of NER. It has nothing to do with me. They don't know me, but it's the organization that they know. And to hold that position is it's very humbling and it's very overwhelming a lot of times, because you're just like, wow, that is representing 1.5. I would hope, Holly, I'm most proud of, I feel really, our leadership team was very cohesive. I trusted every single one of them implicitly, just with anything, I consider them all still friends. So, and I think that we like to say that, but it can be hard. It can be very hard. And I realize that on a national level, when you volunteer in your state or your local, you've been serving on committees together for years. You've been maybe going to dinners together. Maybe it was Dutch Treat or something. You've been attending seminars together. I served with 2 people at NER that I had never served on a committee before. One that I had never gone to dinner with. And you don't realize that until all of a sudden you're sitting in a leadership team meeting and you're like, I don't know this person, And so I think what I would be most proud of is I think all of us walked away with a respect for each other, that we knew we didn't have the same ideas and opinions, but I feel really good that they're walking around with hopefully the same respect that I show for them. And if that would probably be it. I can see Kate's talking. about a snowmobiling story. Have I ever gone back to have that kind of fun with Kenny Parcell? Yeah, Kenny tried to kill me in a snowmobile, that was for sure. I got caught up into the snow up to my arms. I haven't gone back to have that type of fun just yet. I don't know if I would still call that fun. Yeah.
But you're here.
I'm still here. Yes, I'm still here. Introverts to calm the extroverts down. That's coming from Marie covering extrovert. We do need the yin and the yang. And I'll tell you what, that was one of the reasons actually as president, you get the option to appoint or ask for 2 people to be your vice presidents. It's one of the reasons that I picked Kenny Parcell to be my vice president. He's very much, he knew everyone and I didn't. You know, everyone knew me because I was Richard's daughter. I didn't know everyone. And so I needed somebody who could help introduce me to a lot of people that I didn't know. And I knew that that was really critical to have someone like that on my team.
That's awesome. And one thing that I love so much about you is that I didn't know you as Richard's daughter. Where I came at in my leadership journey is I knew him as your father, as Elizabeth's dad. So, I mean, it goes both ways. You've certainly made an impact on all of us. And so thank you for your leadership, and certainly thank you for being here today and sharing with us. I was like Lisa, I was writing all the notes every time you speak or every time I have the opportunity. I do that. And you mentioned Gail Hartnett also. She's the queen of grace and the queen of happy and the queen of attitude, right?
Yeah.
She's fantastic. So are there any other questions? I can't see everybody. Lisa, can you see?
I don't see anyone with their hand raised. And we're right about, let's see, let me go to my second screen. No, I think we're good. I wanted to make one comment to it, but I also, thank you. Oh my gosh, Elizabeth, this has meant so much. I was so thrilled when you said yes. You know, at first, Elizabeth said, oh my gosh, I can't. I have my local installation that night. But then we realized with the time difference and it was Zoom, and she said yes. And so I was just so grateful because she just inspires me so much. And I knew it would be a real inspirational event for everyone today to sort of allow our hearts to be a little bit wider and open, because Elizabeth's message is always one of those that really our hearts, you know, feel open for sure. So I cannot thank you enough for being part of this day for me and for all of us. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Thank you
so much. I wanted to mention also, we got a couple people who snuck in that I want to make sure we mention. One of them is Alex Mishdeen, who is still showing up. That's so awesome, Alex. Alex is our immediate past president, national past president for Residential Real Estate Council. I know he and Holly.
Let me remind you, Lisa, he is still president till the end of the year.
That's right.
For 29 more days. Alex,
20.
Alex, what did you just say? Did you
29 more days. We're counting down every day.
This gentleman right here, whom I've become very good friends with, certainly over this last year, literally 3 months ago, he'd send a message, 90 more days or whatever it was. I was like, stop doing that. He's like, 70 more days. You know, you've got to stop. And then they count down before San Diego and everything. But no, he's stuck with us for another 29 days as president, and then a full year for immediate past president. He's not going away anytime soon.
I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. I apologize that I was late. I was on another RRC call. They just never end, which is great. For those of you here today, it's been an honor to serve as your president. I'm super, super, super excited for Holly to take the reins, not just because I'm going to be done, but I also think Holly's an amazing person and she's so ready, and this is what our organization needs. So I'm very, very excited. But I'm also slightly bittersweet more bitter for me, probably sweet for Richard Waystag, just because he is rolling off the board as the immediate past president. So you guys in the New England region, you guys should be proud. Richard did an amazing job during a very difficult year, and he has supported me this year. And so I'm very grateful. And Richard, we're going to miss you on the board, but I consider you a friend and look forward to your guidance in years to come. So thank you so much, Lisa, for this. I know we're getting towards the end of our time. So thank you so much for introducing me. And thank you for everything that all the leaders here are doing for our organization And thank you to all of our members for all that you're doing as well. Have a great, happy holiday.
Thank you, Alex. So there's two more people that I want to make sure I mention who are part of our leadership team in a little bit of a larger sense. One of them is Kareem Geiger. Where is Kareem? She is our RVP for next year. So she's our regional vice president for Region 1. We're very excited to have Kareem, and I'm so thrilled that she was able to be here today to get a flavor of us.
Thanks very much, Lisa. You guys are amazing. I really look forward to serving as your RVP for next year. And what an awesome group. I'm really honored. Thank you.
Thank you. And then our own Kurt Thompson, who I know just popped in. He's somewhere, there's a giant Palladium window behind him. Kurt Thompson is on the National Board of Directors this next year. We're very excited, could not be more proud. Kurt is a past president of RRC, he comes to Mastermind Monday just about every Monday as well. I mean, Kurt, I learned from Kurt that Kurt is someone who just shows up. He suits up and shows up. And that has meant a lot, no matter where we are in education, no matter where some event is, Kurt's there. And he has a family and a life and does a lot of business. So it's not like Kurt has nothing to do, but he shows his support in ways that are just unbelievable. So I want to call you out, Kurt, because you have been a real mentor to all of us for sure. And I know you will continue to be.
Thank you so much, Lisa. I just wanted to jump on, and again, my apologies for my tardiness and jumping on the call. I just want to personally express, as someone that has the ability to experience the wonderful things that you and your leadership team have done over this year, and no doubt will be doing next year. It's incredible the value you're bringing to the members within the New England region, the team you've put together, and the most important thing is that you continue to enrich the experience of the RRC members with great education, connection, networking opportunities. So thank you for all you're doing. We're looking forward to seeing the incredible things you're going to do next year.
Well, thank you so much, Kurt. And I just want to end by saying, one of the things that was most impactful to me of Elizabeth's keynote for us today was, again, that reminder of, do what you do best. And that's some of us who are super high Ds, we want to keep doing more and all those things that we're really not that great at. And it's a struggle, right? And so I'm taking that so to heart, and I will reach out to everyone here. And as we move forward this next year, do what you're really best at and come in and do it with us. I'd love to see you all get involved, get a bunch of finally in real life, in-person stuff next year. We'll still keep our Mastermind Mondays. We'd love to consider you all a part of the CRS family. And I look forward to 2022, all of you. I'm so excited. My heart is so full. So with that, I will have Holly say goodbye, and we'll close out our installation and celebration today.
I really don't have much to add other than thank you all for saying, I do, I do, I do, I will, I do, right? For those of you that are on the leadership team, thank you for making the commitment. Thank you to our members that are on the call today. I will remind you that applications for first vice president and for board of directors on the national level are open until January 5th, 2022. So if that is something that is on your heart that you would like to be a part of, or at least apply for, please do that. I know I will see many of you in February in the Bahamas at the RPAC President's Circle Conference. And again, we'll get information out there about the class because so many of our top President's Circle investors are CRS designees. And then if you haven't yet, please do jump on and sign up for Celebration in Phoenix, March 4th through the 6th. It's going to be another can't miss opportunity. And so with that, I will say good evening. I will say thank you for what you've done and what you will continue to do. I am blessed, and I do wish you the happiest of holidays, the merriest of Christmas, however you celebrate. Let it be your best. Thank you.
Thank you all. All right, I think we